Gonna start today with a little poem. The kiss of the sun for pardon, the song of the birds for mirth. One is nearer God's heart in a garden than anywhere else on earth. Found that this week and I can't find who the creator of that poem is, so I thought, oh, that's adorable. Hi guys, happy Friday, Fertile Soil Friday here. It's been quite a beautiful couple days here in Pennsylvania. Great, although I feel the humidity creeping back today. Well, today we are going to be talking about sage, which I think many of you are familiar with sage because of cooking and so forth. So I'm going to start in the garden and show you a couple different sages that I have in my garden. And first we have Bear Garden sage, which is the wide leaf, beautiful sage that's wonderful for cooking. And then I have over here some Russian sage, which is kind of flopping over. I did cut it back, but it's a little floppy at the moment. And have you ever grown pineapple sage? Oh, I love pineapple sage. It smells delightful. Pineapple sage right here. Now pineapple sage gets red flowers on it in September, so soon the pineapple sage will be blooming. Then I have one more, Mexican bush sage, which is also beautiful. It gets like a bush and it gets purple flowers on very soon. And the purple flowers have a little white in the middle. It's really nice. Nice air going today. I'm gonna come down here, get out of that sunshine, so I have to stop squinting all the time. Here we are. I hope everyone's doing good today on this beautiful day. And I am here to share a couple things about sage. Sage is in the salvia. It's called salvia. Turn my book upside down. Salvia officinalis is the official botanical name of sage. Sage is a perennial, also coming from the Mediterranean area natively, but it's widely grown like pretty much everywhere in temperate climates. It's very easy to grow if it doesn't get too wet, and it could get a little root rot in it, but it loves the sun like most herbs. Perennial, I did say that you don't have to really fertilize it too much. In June and July it gets flowers and it gets purpley flowers on it. Now salvia, which is sage, has so many different varieties. So when you go to your greenhouse to buy sage, you will see salvias everywhere. So salvias can be ornamental, with just growing it for the beautiful flowers, or salvia officinalis is your general garden sage. And I left my sage bucket in the house with all my sage in it, my skinny sage, which is the one to cook with. I might have to run in and get it for you. But this is the wide leaf Bear Garden sage that I just showed you up in my garden. Critters like to munch on it a little bit, but other than that, it doesn't really have too many pests. It's beautiful. It's absolutely. And it gets maybe 2 feet high, doesn't get really tall. The pineapple sage gets very tall. The leaves of the pineapple sage smell fruity like pineapple, and they can be used in fruit salads. It is edible, but it's also grown just as an ornamental, but it's very fragrant. It smells wonderful, and it's good in a lot of fruity type dishes. You can put it in cakes and cookies. The Mexican bush sage will get the purple and the white flowers on it. It smells very similar to regular sage. Regular garden sage is very pungent and strong scented. A little camphorous. This one here smells a little bit more bitter. Don't use it for cooking. It's not so good. It's really good in flower arrangements. It's beautiful for cut flower arrangements. And it also does have some healing properties in it, just like the regular sage. Then we have another one called Russian sage. I hope I'm saying these right. This one's the Russian sage. And these leaves are really cool. And these are great in flower arrangements as well. They look lovely in a garden. I see them a lot. I see people, I'm sure the mailman hates this, but I see people growing these around their mailboxes. I don't know why that is, but it's a very popular one that I see. It gets bushy and it gets all these beautiful purple flowers on it, and it looks very soft and floral. While I'm standing over here, I want to give a shout out to my niece Carissa for giving me my first mum of the upcoming season. It has nothing to do with sage, but I just love this, and I'm going to plant it in my garden this weekend. And I want to thank you, Carissa, for giving me this beautiful, beautiful mum. Maybe we'll talk about mums coming up here. However, we're on our sage kick. Now, the regular garden variety sage that you cook with, you could cook with this wide leaf, and you could also cook with the garden sage. And I don't want to leave you and go in and get it, because that'd be rude just to leave my video. But I have a whole bunch of it in there that I cut, and I don't have it. But anyway, it's just like this. It's silvery leaves. On the back, it's a little bit more silver, and they're hairy. The leaves are hairy. I do have one leaf out here that the one side is black, and the other side is the gray bottom of the leaf. And the reason the one side is black, I told you the leaves are slightly hairy. They have lots of texture on these leaves. These are wonderful paintbrushes. I know it sounds funny, but any leaves that in my garden that have hair on it, they make beautiful prints. So if you want to impress someone and you're growing leaves outside, or sage for one, sage is beautiful, and it has hairs on the leaves, and you're having a dinner party, or I don't know, Thanksgiving or something, just on the paper napkins, if you put a little paint on the one side of your leaf and press it into your, this is a piece of material, but you can do it on paper and put a stamp on there from the paint. You can see all the veins and the details of your leaf. So that's a fun thing to do, a crafty thing to do with the sage leaves. So I thought I would share that with you. So that's kind of fun to do, especially with the holidays coming up. You can do it now while you have the fresh leaves. And sage is actually an evergreen. It does keep the leaves pretty much all winter. They will kind of shrink back a little bit and go a little dormant. But you have other kinds of sages of varieties out there that they're all not perennial, but the garden kind is. Like the pineapple sage I have to buy every year, so it's a little bit more tender. And you have other sages that you can buy at your greenhouses. They're tricolored sage and purple varieties of sage. Most of them, I would say, are more ornamental, not meant for cooking in meals so much, but you can. They probably just aren't so flavorful. Cooking with sage, you have to be light-handed with it. My family growing up, when we made stuffing for Thanksgiving, my mom really didn't use sage too much because the taste is so strong. It's something you have to get used to and be light-handed with. Now, when I make my stuffing for Thanksgiving and Christmas, or whenever we're hungry for it, I do put sage in it, and nobody notices it because I don't, well, you can taste it, but I don't put so much that I'm heavy-handed with it, because it can be a little overpowering, and it's very strong and pungent. Sage goes well with meats. It's perfect with poultry. A lot of times you can put it in soup, but this is one of those herbs that you want to put towards the end of your cooking because it is so strong, and the flavor kind of can be a little bitter if you use too much of it. Another wonderful gift that sage gives us is all its healing properties. It's, you know, every time I do this, I know a lot about what I grow and herbs, but every time I do one of these little videos, I do a little bit more research, and I always learn something new. And a wise person told me recently that the best way to learn is by teaching, and boy, is that ever true. So the medical properties and the uses of sage abound. It's great for your digestion. So making a tea out of the sage leaves can do much. It helps with digestion. It helps to reduce a fever if you need to. If you have ulcers in your mouth from eating on all those tomatoes this summer, make a little tea of sage and swoosh it around your mouth a couple times. It's really good for mouth sores. Great for cleaning wounds. It's good for your scalp if you have an itchy scalp, sore throat in the winter, good for coughs and colds. Here's the biggest thing that I didn't know about, is that it helps reduce sweating. And being in the menopause age, I get so many hot flashes, I'm not ashamed to say it. And I did not know that this will help ease hot flashes. So I might have to give it a try, because I've tried just about everything, and I just figured I gotta live with it. So I'm gonna try that. It's great for suppressing a woman after they're done nursing. If you want to suppress the milk and help that process slow down and stop when you're done nursing your child, it helps suppress that. It keeps insects away. They use it in perfumery as well. It's an astringent. It is antiseptic. It helps with headaches, calms your nerves. And one of the great proverbs from way back says, "He who would live for aye must eat sage in May." In other words, they think that sage will help you live eternally, that sage is good for just about everything, and it'll help you live longer. There's so many folklore tales about growing sage in your garden. There's one that says, never plant your sage yourself. You should have a friend come to your garden and plant your sage plant where you want it, for good luck, so that the sage grows nicer. So your friends are supposed to plant your sage in your garden. On the other hand, having sage in your garden and growing in your garden helps you live a long and prosperous life. Another fun folk tale is if you take a sage leaf and you write on it, and you write your wish or a prayer on that sage leaf and put it under your pillow, it will come to be whatever you wanted to happen. And sage makes you wise. It's good for wisdom. And isn't that funny? Because the word sage, a person that is a sage, is a philosopher and considered wise. So in the Bible and in life, sages are very wise people and very respected, and a good person and a virtuous person. So that brings me to a couple things in the Bible. When the word sage, as far as the herb goes, is not really mentioned per se in the Bible. Sage is referred to as the person, a sage. So in the First Kings, it says, Solomon was wiser than all of the men of the East and all of the sages of Egypt. And then from Ecclesiastes, the words of sages are like prods, and the collected sayings are like firmly fixed nails. They are given by one shepherd. So it is, the word sage is wise, and all the folklore does fall around sage as wisdom, and it makes you wise and it helps you think. So drink lots of tea. Sage, as far as being mentioned in the Bible, I'm going to refer to its incense qualities, because I'm going to take a little drink. Because sage in the Native Americans, and I'm sure you've heard of smudge sticks. This is white sage, which I haven't said anything about yet. White sage grows more down to the southern part of the United States. It grows really tall, and it makes some really nice long stems of sage. It's very beautiful when it grows. Don't want to cough. Now, one might think, well, it's not very Christian to smudge a room or sage a room. Some people think it's kind of like witchcraft, but it's really not, because it's a prayer. In the Bible, incense is mentioned quite often, a lot in the Bible. So this here is used as incense in Western Catholic areas and Eastern Christian churches. They use sage and incense to lift their prayers up. So this relationship of prayer can be seen in Psalms. Right here in the Psalms, Psalm 141, it says, I call upon you, O Lord, come quickly to me. Give ear to my voice when I call you. Let my prayer be counted as incense before you, and the lifting up of my hands as an evening sacrifice. So incense was burned as a way of lifting prayer up in the glory of God. So, you know, to me, it's the same thought. Smudging and incense is used for purification of room, to cleanse evil out. It's pretty much praying and asking God to be there and to help you and to lift your prayers up. So sage has a long history of purification and prayer and incense. And I've been attending the Alpha course, and it's quite interesting, and I'm learning a lot. But Nicky Gumbel says about prayer, he says, keep it real, keep it simple, and keep it going. So that's what we want to do. Keep it real, keep it simple, and keep it going. So sage, incense, lift it up, keep it real, keep it going. Great stuff. Let's see here, more about sage. You can make some wonderful things other than just food. Sage is really an astringent for your face. So I put a little video up earlier that you can make a tea with sage and rosemary. Make it a strong tea, let it cool, and add a little witch hazel. And if you want, you can add a few drops of essential oils, like clary sage, which is one of the salvias. It's a wonderful woman's sage. And what else did I put in there? Some rosemary. Mix it together, and it's a great astringent for your face. That helps clean your face right up. Then we have this Four Thieves vinegar. This has a really cool history about it. It's called Four Thieves vinegar. And what happened way back when the Black Plague was around, these four thieves would hang around, and they were waiting to go into the houses of people who actually died. And they wanted to protect themselves so they didn't get the plague. So they made this vinegar for themselves to use so they didn't get sick when they were going in the parish people's houses to steal things from them. And they used this to protect themselves from the Black Plague. Well, they got caught, got thrown in jail, but alas, they were released because they gave the recipe for this Four Thieves vinegar out so they can get out of jail. And they really believed that this Four Thieves vinegar was helpful to those who had the plague. Now today, this is great for keeping the bugs away. So Four Thieves vinegar, in lieu of just mixing some water and essential oils together to keep the bugs away, this is great. Let it soak for 2 weeks. Thyme and rosemary, sage and lavender, about equal parts of each. And there you go, bug repellent. Easy peasy and very affordable. So let's see here. I'm sure there's always something I forget, and then when I watch these back, there's always something I say wrong. So it's usually something small, like perennial, annual, because I get nervous. But I'm sure you guys give me the grace to let me make a few mistakes, because I'm learning with you. I want to inspire you to do your own research, and sage is a good herb to use, to cook with, to use it for its medical properties, maybe do a craft or two with it, paint with the leaves. Remember, smudging, lift your prayers up to God. He will hear them. He always hears them. Try to be intentional with your prayer, because we need intentional prayers right now with all the things that are going on in life. And I don't know. I think I covered much of what I wanted to say to you about sage. So go home and make some stuffing. I know somebody who made stuffing today. I wonder if you put sage in that. So I hope that my messages that I share are heard in the ways that they need to be heard by you or anyone else who's listening to this. So I don't know what I'm going to do next week. We're getting up onto the season of the end of summer, which I'm a little sad summer's over. It flew by in a flash, but boy do I love when the weather gets cool and we start seeing seeds emerge, and the sunflowers are feeding the birds, and we have some pumpkins ripening, and the air is cool and crisp and all that good stuff. It's still a good time of the year. So I hope you have a good day, and let's see, what else do I have to say? September 13th is the first day of our Christian Ed year. for Sunday school classes, in which we are now calling Faith Formation at St. John's, and we will be doing videos. If the children want to come, you are more than welcome. We're going to be goofy, we're going to have fun, we're going to learn as much as we can about our faith and about the love of God that is here with us always. So thanks guys, I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.